open the door to sales. In this section, we're going to look at how your representatives can open the door to sales and turn any customer interaction into a sales opportunity. Did you know that in the United States, the cost of poor customer service is estimated to be more than $41 billion a year? If you lose a customer due to poor service, you're not just losing the value of that one transaction. You miss out on the total value of the revenue this customer might have generated over the course of their whole relationship with you. That customer lifetime value is often much greater than what the customer spends on any one purchase. So, how can your company retain customers and increase their lifetime value? Now, it may sound surprising, but the best practice is to stop trying to delight your customers. Now, the idea that companies must delight their customers has become so entrenched that managers rarely examine it. But ask yourself this: how often does someone patronize a company specifically because of its over-the-top service? You can probably think of a few examples, such as a traveler who makes a point of returning to a specific hotel or chain that has a particularly attentive staff, but you probably can't come up with too many. Now, ask yourself the flip side. How often do customers stop doing business with companies because of being disappointed in the service they received? Well, all the time. They find alternatives to the airline that cancels their flights for no apparent reason, the restaurant that keeps them waiting too long to order a drink, the retailer who makes it difficult or impossible to exchange a poor quality product, and the dry cleaner who doesn't understand what a rush order means. Customers' impulse to punish bad service, at least more readily than to reward great service, plays out dramatically in all sales and service channels. Research shows loyalty has a lot more to do with how well companies deliver on their basic, even plain vanilla promises than on how dazzling the service experience might be. Companies create loyal customers primarily by helping them solve their problems quickly and easily. Telling frontline employees to delight customers by exceeding their expectations often leads to confusion, wasted time and effort, and costly giveaways. Telling them to make it easy for customers to do business with you gives them a solid foundation for effective action. Now, it turns out that this concept of making it easy for the customer is a very powerful predictor of customer loyalty and increased sales. And this concept is called customer effort. If you haven't heard this term before, you might be asking yourself, what is customer effort? Well, on slide 9, you can think about it this way. How hard is it to be a client of your company? How much effort do your clients personally have to put forth to handle their requests? And how does this effort compare to their expectations? If customers have to work hard to do business with you, they are less likely to stay with you and more likely to leave. On the other hand, if you can reduce customer effort, customers are more likely to stay with you and more likely to respond positively if you try to help them buy something. So what exactly does it mean to lower customer effort and make it easy? Well, it's simple. Just remove obstacles so that you can meet and occasionally exceed your customers' expectations. Well, what do customers expect? Customers don't expect much. Most customers and most prospective customers are actually pretty reasonable most of the time. One of the reasons most of them don't expect too much is because very few companies take the time and effort to raise the bar by consistently delivering service that meets even the most basic requirements. Now, before we look at how you can go above and beyond customer expectations, let's just take a quick look at what the average consumer actually expects. Well, customers expect timely, knowledgeable, friendly communication, both before and after they make a purchase. Customers expect to receive exactly what they ordered. If customers are getting a product, they expect relatively fast shipping. And customers expect a reasonable return policy if there's some kind of problem or the product or service does not perform as expected. Now, technology has had an enormous impact on how customers communicate with us. Today, so many questions, problems, and requests can be resolved easily through self-service options. So, for the most part, customers don't talk with representatives unless they perceive that they have an unusual situation that can't be easily solved through the company's website or other self-service options. But when a customer calls with one of these unusual situations, what can you do to make it easy for them and increase their lifetime value? There are 3 critical tips. Take care of the person, take care of the problem, take care of the system. Let's look at each of these. First, take care of the person. You have to prepare your sales and service employees to address the emotional side of customer interactions. Research tells us that about 24% of repeat calls stem simply from emotional disconnects between customers and representatives. Situations in which, for example, the customer didn't trust the representative's information or didn't like the answer given and had the impression that the rep was just hiding behind general company policy. With some basic training and coaching, reps can eliminate many interpersonal issues and thereby reduce repeat calls. Take care of the problem. Don't just tell the customer that you're taking care of the issue, do it. By far, the biggest cause of excessive customer effort is the need to call back. Many companies believe they're performing well in this regard because they believe they have strong first contact resolution or FCR scores. However, turns out that more than 20% of repeat calls involve downstream issues related to the problem that prompted the original call, even if that problem itself was adequately addressed the first time around. Finally, take care of the system. Be proactive and work on preventing future issues. Many service representatives spend a high percentage of their time dealing with the same problems or questions over and over again. Train your people to identify these system problems and then fix them. Everyone needs to own the problem. Another way to think about reducing customer effort is with the acronyms DIRFT, FIRST, and TINT. DIRFT, D-I-R-F-T, is do it right the first time. FIRST, F-I-R-S-T, is fix it right the second time. TINT, that's T-I-N-T-T, is there is no third time. Now, Zappos is an example of a company that gets it. Their website offers several shipping options, but sometimes when a customer selects standard shipping, the company decides to surprise them with a free upgrade to overnight shipping. Now, it's truly a delight when the product you ordered unexpectedly arrives on your doorstep less than 24 hours later. I know this has certainly made Carrie a very loyal customer of theirs. More companies need to figure out how to follow suit. Now, it's clear that, on the one hand, if you overpromise and underdeliver, that's a sure formula for losing customers' trust and respect. But if you make promises that you can consistently keep and then find creative ways to do even better once in a while, you just might gain a customer for life. Not to mention a brand advocate who's going to tell their entire social network. In business, both the sales and service teams may promise a lot to customers, and the chances of over-promising during the sales cycle happens to be especially high. When you're talking with a new prospect, they will often compare your offer with that of your competitors. Under these circumstances, it's easy to see why your marketing and salespeople may at times go overboard and promise more than your firm can actually deliver. You may have heard justifications like, well, we had to do it that way to close the sale, or, look, let's just do the best we can and see how it works out. It's the effort that counts, right? Well, actually, no. Organizations that are committed to service that achieves revenue do everything they can to build and maintain strong customer relationships. This means, on slide 15, don't make promises you can't keep. If you have to use asterisks and fine print to qualify your promise, don't make it. Treat your VIP customers like they really are very important to you. Take responsibility for the entire experience. Make sure your promise is kept by your partners. Keeping only part of your promise is actually breaking it. It's better to be underestimated. Then you can surprise and delight. And finally, tell the truth. When customers make a decision to do business with you, will they discover that you can actually deliver what you've promised? If not, you can't expect those customers to respond positively when you try to sell them something else. But if you can consistently meet and once in a while exceed what your customers expect, and if you can make it easy for your customers to do business with you, then you have set the stage to build a stronger and more profitable relationship with them.